Oh.
Hooty hoo. All right. Great week for the Owls. We got some good things going on we're going to talk about tonight. This show is to celebrate KSU sports. And if you haven't been here before for the KSU show, we're here to raise some NIL money for the athletes at Kennesaw State. Heading to the Conference USA here in a couple of years, and it's pretty big news around campus and around town. We want to get the companies and community more involved with KSU. And we want to talk a little bit about what went on this week. But more importantly, I want to talk to you real quickly a little bit about KSU and what your gift can mean by giving something to Kennesaw State. If you give $500 to Kennesaw State, it means something. Not like if you give it to Alabama or you give it to Georgia Tech or you give it to Georgia. You actually become part of the family. A lot of the families here tonight. Will Renfro and his wife Charlie. Charlie brought us some delicious chocolate chip cookies tonight.
Yes.
So I'm very excited about that. Garrett, Jen, and Alyssa, everybody here is the fan. So my co-host for tonight, Robert's off at the softball game. Hopefully his daughter's winning the championship about now. They've been playing 6-6-15, and we'll get a report on that next week. But my co-host for tonight, Adam the intern. Everybody a big hand.
Robert skipped on us, so I had to fill in.
Is that the first time anybody's ever clapped for you?
That hurts.
I'm just curious. Okay. All right. So, Adam, let's talk a little bit about what went on with KSU this week. And I have to put on my glasses because I am old and I can read this stuff.
We beat Charleston. No. We beat Charleston Southern in football. We're 4-4.
Yep. We actually didn't have to go to overtime. That was good.
Xavier Shepard threw the ball better this week. He threw a touchdown. He spread the ball around. He hit like 6 different receivers.
That's a good week.
Yes,
That's a good week. But as you know, there are other sports at KSU than just football. Although we love our running Owls. That's great.
We do.
The soccer team lost 0-1 to Eastern Kentucky in the opening round of the ASUN Conference Championship. They were going for their third straight trip to the ASUN title game, but just fell short.
Yeah.
1-0. So tough luck on the soccer team. Tennis, both men and women's teams had a great tourney at the Mercer Gridiron Classic. The women's had 3 titles and a final, and making another final. And Anthony Weingarten won his first title ever as a freshman at KSU. So that's pretty cool. The volleyball team won 3-1 at Stetson. And then, unfortunately, they took it on the chin against Florida Gulf Coast Community College, or whatever they are now. They made a big splash in the NCAA basketball tournament about 3 or 4 years ago.
The Fighting Chickens.
Are they the Fighting Chickens?
No.
Okay.
They're the Eagles, but I like to call them the Chickens.
Okay. The Fighting Chickens. That works for me. All right. So, and then, like I said, they lost to Gulf Coast, and that broke their 15-game home winning streak. Garrett, were you at that game when they lost? Garrett Brackett. He's not paying attention to me. Oh, they can't hear you? Is that better? Okay. Garrett. Garrett.
It's too loud.
Were you at the volleyball game where we lost?
Sadly.
Not good. 15-game home winning streak broken, right? Not a good thing. Coming back. All right, cross-country team both were in Huntsville, Alabama. Women's came in 4th. The men's came in 9th. Caroline Tim and Sarah Hendrick were first team and second team all conference. So hooty hoo to them. Yes. And the men's golf team wrapped up their season with a 10th place out of 16 at the Grandover Collegiate tournament over in North Carolina.
We had some people in the top 5 at that tournament. It was a pretty good tournament. And the cross-countries team going to the South Region, the South Regional for the NCAA.
Coming up on November 11th.
Yes.
November 11th.
In Birmingham, I believe.
All right. So let's, before we bring on our athlete guest of the week, why don't you read what's going on at Bearcat Express?
What is going on at Bearcat Express? Do you need delivery right now? As in, go now, please? Bearcat Express has expedited shipping on hand-carried items, van, car, or pickup, whether it's from Memphis to Augusta, Atlanta to Athens, Dothan to Charlotte, and all points in between. We've got the drivers to get your stuff where it needs to be. Whether your passport's still on the dresser, your 7-iron isn't in your bag, or you have a dog that hates to fly, Bearcat Express, with their live tracking capabilities, is the team to turn to. We are the go-to courier for the Southeast USA. Check out BearcatExpress.com.
And thank you, Blair Cook, for being a sponsor. As always, we thank you for being a part of the Owl Show. So very excited about our guest that we have on tonight. He's a local kid. Went to St. Pius High School. Is that right, Grant? And everybody put your hands together in a big hooty-hoo for Grant Williams. Listen to that crowd. That's amazing.
It's a great crowd.
Yeah, it's a great crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love this crowd. Grant, welcome, buddy.
How are you doing? Thanks for having me on.
If I was any better, I'd be Grant Williams. So talk to us, Grant. Tell us a little bit about you before we get into our 1,000 questions that we have for you.
All right. So start off, graduated from St. Pius, 2014. Go Lions.
Makes you 26, right?
27.
27. Okay, just turned 27. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Went to Kennesaw State 2015 to 2018. I was lucky enough to been a 4-year starter for the Owls. Held
And
down
Coach Coe wasn't the coach then, was he?
Correct. Coach Sansing was.
Okay.
And I was able to play there for 4 years and then went on to get drafted in 2018 MLB draft and been with the Red Sox for the last 4 years.
A little bit closer to the mic, if you would, Grant.
And I was just recently let go from the Red Sox in August. But
Well, we need to have a talk with him.
Yeah, we'll talk with him.
Yeah. I'll take care of it.
Perfect. But I absolutely love my time at Kennesaw. The program is just growing so much. I've actually been a part of the alumni golf tournament the last couple of years.
Oh, have you?
And didn't come in last like I did last year this year. So
You came in next to last?
Maybe.
The only important part is that you didn't finish last.
There
Exactly.
you go.
Exactly.
All right. So ask him the question.
All right.
This is one of our favorite questions.
So, you're driving down a country road, and you see two broken down cars. One guy is wearing a Marist shirt, and the other guy is wearing a Blessed Trinity shirt. Who do you help?
Or do you spit on both of them?
That's a pretty brutal question.
We want to start off that way, so that's good.
Probably getting back in my car and just driving, letting them both fight it out.
There you go. All right, Grant, that's what we're talking about. This is my kind of guy, I can tell you right now. That's awesome. So, you mentioned a minute ago that you play golf. Did you play any other sports growing up?
I played basketball, played some football, messed around with some rollerblade hockey during Christmas in the street.
I've done that before. Many years ago.
And a little bit of golf. Played a little bit of tennis, but better tennis than I am. So.
Oh, yeah? So when did you decide, okay, baseball is it? That's what I want to do.
I decided that freshman year of high school. I played football my freshman year at St. Pius, and I had one reception for 13 yards and got absolutely crushed by 3 linebackers, and I said, yeah, football's not for me. So
Well, it's not for me.
stuck with baseball, and it's been good to me.
All right, cool. I heard something, tell me if this is true about St. Pius, that if you went to St. Pius, you were required to play a sport? Is that right? Or 72% of the people?
86% of people play sports.
That went to St. Pius.
It's not required, but they really do tell you
Encourage it.
it's a great way to get into the community, and because you got so many feeder schools coming, so it's a real good way to kind of jump into school and kind of have some friends.
Yeah, I played everything when I was growing up. 7th grade football, and I played basketball from when I was 11 until I was 51. I played in one league or another. And I think if everybody played sports at some level, at some point, that the world would get along a lot better. I mean, it teaches you a lot about life, a lot more than learning how to dribble left-handed and right-handed or hitting a curveball. I mean, it just talks about camaraderie and about being a part of something that you can build on.
Absolutely, and every sport's going to teach you something different. I feel like I got some of my quick twitch from basketball, being able to go in and out. You get that toughness from football. You get a little bit of intellect from golf. Every sport's going to teach you something different, and it kind of all fed into the player that I became on the field.
I don't know if the intellect matches with me in golf or not, but I get too frustrated playing golf. I'll hit those 2 or 3 good shots around. I say, I got to play again, see if I can do this. Nah. Yeah. It goes down to 1 shot, and then next time 2, 3 shots. So, yeah, but great sport. It's a great way to spend a lot of time out on the course with your friends and, again, building that social component. But tell me why you chose KSU. What were the other schools that recruited you?
I was recruited by Dartmouth.
Wow. Ivy League.
Coastal Carolina, Kennesaw, and a few other schools that came around. But I narrowed it down to Coastal Carolina and Kennesaw. And really what drove me to Kennesaw was the fact that the coaches told me that I had an ability to make the team and be able to contribute as a freshman. So it was about being able to play.
Did you walk on, or did you come on as a scholarship athlete?
I was a walk on my first year, and that was awesome. Because I had to go in there with a chip on my shoulder and go in there, and after a team that just went to the Super Regional in 2014, I had to go in there and kind of earn my keep. And freshman year, I ended up getting that opening day start, and the rest is history from there.
Well, I have a question, because Coastal Carolina is Charleston or somewhere close.
Myrtle Beach.
It's on the beach. Why could you choose KSU over the beach? And don't get me wrong, because I went to Kennesaw Junior College.
Yeah, it was a tough one, but not really, because my parents were going to be able to be at the home games. Dunwoody was 40 minutes from Kennesaw, and it was nice to where it was far enough to where I didn't feel like I was going to school in my backyard with my parents watching over me. Shout out Mom and Dad, by the way.
I was going to say hi to your folks down in St. Petersburg. You know when you say they are?
Yes, sir.
Mr. and Ms. Williams, you got a pleasant son here.
But yeah, I mean, really, the driving factor was the ability to play as a freshman, and I didn't want to go somewhere and sit on the bench, because you're not going to progress sitting on the bench. Being on that field is how you progress, and they told me that I was going to have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, how many teammates you think would have transferred if the transfer portal was around then? Because I am not a fan of the transfer portal at all. I'm about sticking it out and getting better so I don't have to transfer.
Absolutely. The transfer portal kind of takes a little bit of that competition away. It's instead of the second string saying I'm sticking it out and I'm going to find a way to be the first string, he just leaves and goes to a smaller school and becomes the first string. And that it takes a little bit from the sport away, I feel.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that you bat left-handed and you throw right-handed. How tough is that? Because usually, like, Aaron Judge bats right-handed and he throws right-handed. So how tough is it to do that?
There's no explaining why it is the way it is. All I can tell you is when I was about 12 to 16 months old, I started hitting a ball off a tee with my grandma down in my basement.
12 to 16 months old?
Yeah. And
I was doing at 12 to 16 months old is eating. That's all I did. I'm not hitting baseballs anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how it happened. I just picked up a ball with my right hand and I swung left-handed. And
That's wild.
I did try to switch it.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
When I was 10, I wanted to be Chipper Jones so bad.
Oh, yeah?
But righty just wasn't clicking up top, so I just stuck with lefty.
So what's the first position you played?
Shortstop.
When you played baseball? Shortstop?
Shortstop.
And that's where you played all throughout your career?
Yep. Shortstop and second base have been my 2 primary positions. Actually, this year in AAA with the Red Sox, I was able to get, I think it was 50 games at third.
Wait, Pawtucket, is that their AAA club?
It was. It's now Worcester.
Okay, Worcester, Mass.
Worcester Woo Sox. But Pawtucket, it was the Paw Sox.
Paw Sox, yeah. They have a pretty cool
19.
minor league baseball park up there, don't they?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cold.
Yeah, very cold.
It's very cold up there.
Yeah. Now, we had Austin on last week. Do you know Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I played with him.
Oh, that's right. He's the one that got me in touch with you. Yeah, so he joined some baseball league that was up in the Northeast. Were you a part of that too?
The NECBL
That's the one, yeah.
up in
yeah.
Rhode Island.
So were y'all up there together?
Yes.
Oh,
We
cool.
were actually roommates
Oh, were you?
for that summer, and I believe it was summer of 16. We were up in the NECBL in Rhode Island, and man, what a time that was. Just beautiful weather.
Summer's
so much.
nice up there.
So I ate my first lobster head on and everything. I mean, just cool experience.
Where did you have your first lobster at? Do you remember?
First lobster was actually when I was 10 years old. My dad won some Boston Red Sox tickets at a work event, and we went up to Boston, and we went to, couldn't tell you the
Name of the
what
restaurant?
place we went, but it was right on the water.
Oh, there's so many up there. Boston
Got my
seafood. There's so
first
much
lobster up there.
That's true. So that was your first trip to Fenway?
That was my first trip to
Have
Fenway.
you actually played in Fenway?
No, I had some. We were supposed to have a Cape Day in Fenway, and that was back in summer of 18. But I was able to go up and have multiple live at bats this year. I faced Chris Sale, I faced Nathan Evaldi, I faced Garrett Whitlock. In Fenway, Alex Cora is right behind me.
So you did get to hit in Fenway, you just didn't play in the game.
Yeah.
Correct.
Did you knock one off the monster?
Did not.
Okay.
But had a couple good swings, and
Yeah.
it was funny. I showed up, and I actually was able to play with Chris Sale the last couple of years because he's been hurt and rehabbing, and so we've created a good relationship. And he actually saw me and rolling out, getting ready to work out before we had the hitting, and he said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Excuse my language. I'm here to rake your." And he laughed. First pitch he threw me was a front door slider that made me kind of get out of the way. Of course, it goes right over the middle of the plate. And he just looks at me and smiles.
That's
but
funny.
he's a great guy.
That reminds me of the scene in Field of Dreams
Oh,
where the guy winks at him and he lowers the boom on him.
that's a great movie.
Yeah, it is. It used to be my favorite movie. Great flick. But just to be able to stand on the field in Fenway, I've been to a couple of games there, and I'll never forget my first experience at Fenway. So I can't imagine what it's like to be on the field and see the monster and do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a magical place, especially when there's 40,000 fans screaming.
Over 40,000 people in there?
I believe that's capacity. It might be
Wow.
small. It might be smaller than that.
No, I think you're about
Yeah,
right.
that sounds
It's
about
38,
right.
39, something like
Something
that.
like
yeah.
that.
Beautiful ballpark.
So cool.
It was so funny. The first summer I got to go to Fenway, like less than a month later, I got to go to Wrigley Field. And I just couldn't decide. They're both so iconic and so fantastic that it was just really, really cool. So you started out as shortstop in Little League or T-ball, I guess. And when did you know that, or when did somebody first tell you, you could play baseball in the major leagues?
It's actually been an uphill battle. I've always been a smaller guy. As a freshman in high school, I was 98 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, freshman in college.
You're what, about 145, 150 now?
Now I'm about 165.
165?
But freshman year of college, I was 145 pounds. I mean, I've always been on the smaller side, and so nobody ever would throw a bet on me. He'll go to the show, but I'm still chasing that goal.
I mean, we got so many questions. What is your current status? Are other teams contacting you? Do you contact them, or you have an agent? I guess
I'm a free agent right now.
Do you have an agent that represents you?
And my agent represents me, and he's the one that's talking to the teams. A lot of that doesn't happen right now until the MLB season officially ends. So the Phillies and Astros need to hurry this series up so I can start looking for a new home.
There you go.
But yeah, he's working for me and looking for another team for spring training.
Okay, all things considered, where would you like, if you could choose one team? Braves?
Yeah, if I could choose one team, it'd be the Braves.
Okay, take the Braves off. Who's next?
Who needs a second baseman?
Yeah.
Whatever team needs a second baseman or a shortstop.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. I like that. Yeah. It's so amazing to me from a college perspective. Where was the coolest place you played that wasn't KSU?
Oh man, there were a ton. Um, we took the trip to Clemson. That was a gorgeous stadium. Of course, Georgia Tech's got a premier
The
field.
Rose Bowl field is beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
baseball
And
park.
they actually, I believe it was the same groundskeeper that worked at Turner Field at the time.
Oh,
I was
really?
working for them. And so that was one of the greatest surfaces.
Now, did you go to the exhibition game Friday night?
I did not.
They played at Georgia Tech. I was going to go because Austin told me they're playing Sunday, and when they saw the 83% chance of rain, they moved it to Friday night, and I couldn't go. It was very disappointing to me because I wanted to go watch them play.
I know. And then they were down in Tallahassee 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, at FSU, things didn't look so good down there, but he said we got all the
Sorry.
kinks worked out and we're ready to go. So,
But then, I honestly, probably in Athens. That was one of my favorite stadiums to play.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, just because of the atmosphere.
I'm not a dog fan.
I'm not a dog fan either. Go Noles.
Neither am I.
Go Knowles.
Boiler up.
That's better than dogs. I'm a Tech fan.
Oh, okay.
But I went to Kennesaw Junior College, so
Okay.
graduated from Georgia Southern. So, it's funny. Carrick Martin, you know Carrick? So Carrick posted this week about all the different schools were commenting on his post that soon these guys will be saying, "Hey, Kennesaw State's on our schedule."
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. Coach
Exactly.
Co, do you know Coach Co at
Yes.
all? Okay. So do you work any with Austin, or I know
Yeah.
he's volunteer coach of the team, right?
Yeah, actually, I'll go up there periodically throughout the off season, and Austin will bring a couple guys out there, and we'll go take some ground balls. We'll do some hitting on the field. So it's been great having connection still with the staff over at Kennesaw.
That's fantastic. Now, when you were with Paw Sox, were you with them most of this year?
Worcester, yes.
Worcester, I'm sorry, yeah.
I was with them all
Did
this year
you
until
ever go
August.
play in Frisco, Texas?
No, that's a different league. But
Oh,
I've heard
okay.
that's a great
That's
great
the coolest
stadium.
coolest stadium I've ever been to in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it was God, it was something else. It's something park now, but it was Dr. Pepper Field then. And they had like condominiums along the foul lines and in the outfield where you could live.
Really?
Yeah, they only had like regular seats out to like halfway down the foul lines on either side, first and third base side. But the rest of it was condos where you could live and watch ball games all the time. Coolest park I've ever been in.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
So which minor league park was your favorite to go to?
You know,
Modern Image is a locally owned document and photograph scanning company that helps clients secure and use paper files and photos. Whether it's important